What does the Bible say about beverage alcohol? Thank you for being with us today for this, your daily 180 Bible study. This week, we're going to be studying the subject of beverage alcohol. And most importantly, what does the Bible say about it? Is it legitimate for us to partake of beverage alcohol for the purpose of recreation and social purposes? And someone would say, are you saying that beverage alcohol is inherently evil? Well, I couldn't make that statement. You see, because here's the premise for this series of lessons. Beverage alcohol for recreational and social purposes and for non-medical reasons is sinful. Now, someone says, wait a minute, what do you mean? I mean, if you're, sure, a doctor might prescribe some cough syrup that has some alcohol in it, or you may go get some other particular medicine that has some alcohol in it. But that's different than taking it for recreational purposes or social purposes. And while it may be legitimate to take it for medical purposes, it's not legitimate for us to self-medicate. Now, one of the problems that we have when it comes to this subject of beverage alcohol is that many people say, well, the Bible endorses the idea of partaking of wine. One of the problems that we have is the common usage of the word wine today has to do with an intoxicating beverage. And people say, after all, Jesus made wine. Well, one of the things you need to realize is when we talk about wine and when the Bible talks about wine, it's not always an intoxicating beverage. Now, I recognize that sometimes it is. In Genesis chapter 9, Noah planted a vineyard. He made wine from the produce of that vineyard. He drank it and he was drunk. It was most definitely intoxicating. In Isaiah 55 and verse number 11, there we see that Isaiah condemns the idea of intoxicating beverage. But I want you to listen to Isaiah 65 and verse number 8. As the new wine is found in the cluster. What is he talking about in the cluster? He's talking about while the grapes are still in the cluster. And he calls that wine. Is that wine? Is that an intoxicating beverage? Well, he calls it wine, but there's no such thing as intoxicating grapes. You see, what he's talking about is that grape juice being referred to as wine. Also, I would refer you over to Jeremiah 48 and verse number 33. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk more about this idea of Jesus making wine. But you need to understand, not every time you read about wine in the Bible is it an intoxicating beverage. Join us again tomorrow.